Let's quickly. I mean, I don't want to necessarily rush through it, but the discussion about the release and stuff went a little longer than I thought, which is fine. Looking back to Double or Nothing this past Sunday before we get to a wrestler of the week, I'll run down the results if there's any match in particular anybody wants to talk about. Opening match on the pre-show, Serena Deeb retained the NWA Women's title. Opening of the show, Adam Page defeating Brian Cage in a singles match. The Young Bucks retained the tag team titles against Eddie Kingston and John Moxley. Saw Jungle Boy, of course, last eliminating Christian Cage to win the Casino Battle Royale. Personally, I thought it was Christian the whole way. I love the fact that they went with Jungle Boy in this spot. Pleasantly surprised me, if I'm being 100% honest.
The previous two Casino Royale winners really went on to big things, so things are looking good for Jungle Boy.
Who was it besides Brian? Brian Cage was one.
No, he won the Casino ladder match.
He won the giant poker chip.
It was Adam Page in 2019 and Lance Archer last year.
Okay.
So good luck, Jungle Boy.
Yeah, you get your title shot in 2 weeks, and you're likely to lose.
Jungle Boy is a star on the AEW roster that will benefit from live fans being
100%. That the pop was huge,
and that finish was incredible.
It was
so good.
It was real good. Things that weren't real good. Cody Rhodes defeating Anthony Ogogo. Miro.
You say that. Rhodes has a star on the rise too.
Sure he does.
I mean, he's to the moon.
Miro, wrong week, midweek show, Ryan. Miro defeating Lance Archer to retain the TNT title. Personally, I think this match should have been shorter even than the 9:50 that it was.
Should have been 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Miro just ragdoll him the entire time.
Absolutely should have. And it felt, honestly, it felt longer than 9:50.
He threw a bag of snakes.
Right, PETA, go get him. PETA gonna get him. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defeating Hikaru Shida to become the new AEW Women's Champion. I'm glad Britt won, but I think, Ryan, as we were talking,
I was dead wrong. I went back and watched it. That match was fantastic.
Was it?
Yeah, it was really good.
Was it?
I really enjoyed it. I went back and watched it. I thought it was great.
How long was that match?
17 minutes.
Yeah, like cut some time.
Yeah, God forbid we give the women equal amount of time in like a big title match.
To be fair, there's multiple men's matches.
You definitely are a WWE fan.
I could go through this entire pay-per-view and say blanket statement right off the cuff. Every match take 4 minutes off. Yes. Every one of them take 4 minutes.
Every match was
every one of them.
Every single one of them.
There's no 4 pay-per-views that goes 4 hours.
It has nothing to do with the length of the pay-per-view.
You absolutely got the money. It does. If you cut 4 minper off of every fucking match, that pay-per-view is shorter. It has everything to do with 4 hours.
It does. But per mathematics, taking 4 minutes off of 9 matches gives you 36 extra minutes.
For what?
Not my problem. It's if 2 wrestlers are given 17 minutes of time to wrestle, but they've only got 13 minutes of material, it makes that match so much harder to watch because you're filling stuff in. That match was a hit. Shida and Britt Baker was a hit everything, kick out of everything fest.
Honestly, to me, and I haven't gone back and watched the show.
Are you new to AEW?
but every match is like that, and that's another thing too. Like
I thought
they do everything. I'm sounding like Jim Ross.
I thought that the NWA Women's Title match was better than Britt versus Cheetah.
It was not.
I mean, I may have to go back and watch both of them.
Please play the "Wrong Sir" clip for yourself.
What if I don't feel that I am? You know what? I'll oblige you.
Wrong, sir.
I really enjoyed Deeb and Riho too. I thought that match was great. I thoroughly enjoyed a long women's match where they actually were given the time, and yep, they kicked out of everything and they threw everything. And I think you have a brand new championship, and you need to establish that this is important. And these girls are going to go and do what it takes to win this match, and that's what we saw. And it was 17 minutes. It's not like it was the longest match.
Well, no, it certainly was not the longest.
I feel like NXT had like a 30-minute women's match one time, and everybody fucking loved that.
Because it was an Iron Woman match.
Well, you know what? Ticky-tacky, Jim. Ticky-tacky.
No, I mean, like...
Well, how long was it?
It was 30 minutes.
My point is proven.
No.
Right, but you also knew that going
minutes.
in.
We all just said... We all agreed...
That was established.
So that would be better as a 26-minute match.
No.
The concept of the match was a 30-minute match.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. So 17 is too long.
You're missing what I'm saying.
I'm not allowed to speak on behalf of the Iron Woman match
because
Sasha Banks wrestled in it. I can't.
That's also
You're more
true.
than welcome to speak up about it because Bailey wrestled in it.
There you go.
No,
but the moment Bailey was in control, we could have cut them out.
The issue. 17 minutes isn't the issue. The time itself is not the issue. It's the fact that this match, as well as matches 1 through 10, went too long.
I just appreciate that Jim is saying this 17 match is too long when you had The Undertaker having a 22-minute entrance.
Did we?
And didn't seem like upset about that when you predicted 22 minutes.
So did we not just say that Miro and Lance Archer was the longest 9-minute match we had ever seen?
I mean, not ever. I've seen some indie stinkers.
Okay. For a mainstay big 3 company pay-per-view match, would you not say that Miro and Lance Archer had a long 9-minute match?
I mean, that's a lot of recency bias, but yes, it was super long.
Okay. So if they had 9 minutes, but they only had 4 minutes or 5 minutes of material.
That's a little different though, because I felt it was too long because it shouldn't have been that long. Not because they couldn't go. It should have just been a squash match for Miro. That's why I felt that it was
everybody
too long.
wants the Rusev Miro back, and that's just not who we have in AEW.
And
I think
also
that's
you
why
have
people
to
want that match shorter.
There's also some protecting that needs to be done for Lance Archer too.
You just can't kill the guy.
And if you put him in there against Rusev, Miro, and you kill him in 3 minutes, you've essentially done just that.
Okay, but it's not like
leave
people
him
can't
and
bounce
Archer
back from that. Daniel Bryan lost in 18 seconds at a WrestleMania.
Yes, and that made him.
Fine.
It made him.
It took a lot to build him back to that.
That was because WWE didn't want to build him back. That's not like him. Like,
wasn't that really just supposed to put over the bro kick?
Yeah, I think
like it's a kick that's a finisher.
And it was
wow.
Distraction by AJ Lee.
Yeah, the split from AJ.
Supposed to be like the kiss of death thing.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
will give you that match should have been shorter. I feel like a Go-Go should have won in a much shorter amount of time and just caught Cody with a punch. Go-Go
definitely should have won.
That's me like playing armchair quarterback Booker that I'm not.
Right.
I love a Go-Go's trunks, by the way. I think that was the one of the biggest.
His trunks were fantastic. We were trying to figure out how he was using the Olympic rings, but the bottom 2 rings were the G. Fantastic. Absolutely love it.
The top is the O's in his name. Brilliant. Love it. Probably the best gear that I've seen in a long time.
Was Leo Rush on anyone's radar for the surprise entrance? Okay.
No, but that was a letdown because it wasn't CM Punk. I think that's what everybody's going to say.
I mean, here's the thing. It caught me by surprise.
Who did everybody guess?
I had the Big Show.
My guess was Paul White. I thought he was going to pull the Jerry the King Lawler and step up.
I think we all said that, and then was it Devin that said Andrade?
Yeah.
And I thought there was a possibility it could have been Andrade, but I didn't think it was going to be. I thought even when I predicted it, I didn't remember that Paul White was on commentary. I thought he was going to pull the Jerry the King Lawler thing where he gets up and puts the headset down. and then just goes in and like, and I get he's going to take more people to eliminate him, but I thought that was going to be the thing that was going to happen. So it was definitely a cool surprise.
You would have preferred Paul White over Lio Rush?
Not necessarily. I mean, I thought it was a cool surprise. I mean, I don't feel it was a letdown by any stretch of the imagination.
I have my own problems with the Casino Battle Royale. I have two notable problems.
My biggest problem with it is there's no good way to bring 5 guys out at one time. Because the first one, if memory serves, they all came out at one time, and it's like, why aren't these guys fighting? It's all, but now you bring them out with separate entrances, and that just seems convoluted as well. I get they're trying to do a Royal Rumble without doing what WWE does, so I give them credit for that. But there's no good way to bring 5 guys out at the same time, especially when you only have one tunnel.
My big problem was it was 3 minutes between entrances. I get that it's 5 people at a time, but 3 minutes is a long time to watch 5 dudes just kill time until another 5 dudes come
when
out.
You see the clock. The beauty of Titan time is it can be 38 seconds. It could be 2.5 minutes. It's whatever the match dictates.
Right.
But when you see the clock counting, all you're doing is watching the clock, waiting for 3 minutes to come down.
By the way, if you cut a minute off of every timer, that's the 4 minutes you would save from the Casino Battle Royale.
Mike here, going back to the TNT title match, he says a squash match for Miro. If you want to do that, hand him like Trent or Chuck or somebody like that. If you squash Archer, that leaves him 0-2 in TNT title matches. Yeah, I also don't necessarily think we needed to get a rushed Miro Lance Archer match that was booked in 2 weeks. I think that could have been a great long match, Summer of Miro, and Lance Archer's the big guy coming to take the title. But, you know, they went a million miles an hour straight into that feud as well.
But, and also you have to think too, it's their first pay-per-view in front of a full live crowd.
Fair. So
you want to give them the biggest matches you can. And 2 big names together. Like, or 2 former WWE guys with name recognition for a title. Put them together.
That's fair. Darby and Sting defeating Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, 12:30. Kenny Omega defeating Orange Cassidy and Pac. 3-way match to retain the AEW World Championship. And then, of course, finally, the Inner Circle defeating the Pinnacle in the Stadium Stampede match, 31 minutes and 30 seconds.
We're going to be doing this podcast 3 or 4 years from now when Orange Cassidy is released from AEW and say, God damn, how red hot Orange Cassidy was, and AEW didn't have the balls to put the championship on him in this match right here, because that crowd was all the fuck over Orange Cassidy.
Man, they were ready.
What I was really looking forward to with Double or Nothing was AEW to actually do something that they said they were going to do at the beginning of the company.
Which was?
That they would make plans, but if the fans point them in a certain direction, that they would listen to the people and they would give them what they want and they would make accommodations thereof. Wrong. What harm is it?
Wrong.
What harm is it at Double or Nothing to have Orange Cassidy win the title, even if it's to lose it back to Kenny Omega in 2 or 3 weeks on television?
Right.
There's zero harm in that.
Especially because you could have done it. Pac eats the fall. You don't even have to have Kenny in that spot.
The only harm in it is that's not what wraps up this pay-per-view. That emotional blow-off of Orange winning, and then you have to go watch the Inner Circle match.
Literally,
which will end up back in front of you.
Right, yes. The fans in the crowd literally have to watch it on a TV screen.
Yeah, that was
why
that was a gutsy call to have your main event be taped and air the end of it live in Daly's place. Brilliant. But the biggest kudos needs to be to every single fan who sat happily watching the Stadium Stampede on that one screen
and assuming
right.
and assuming that it was, and it did to their, it did, but assuming that match is going to finish in the ring, because there was a ring in the stadium. It could have ended there. It could have ended in the boiler room or the cooler or whatever. Mike says they also said records matter, but only till they need another Casino Battle Royale to figure out the
number. And that's another problem I have with the Casino Battle Royale. What's the point of having rankings?
If you've been watching, and again, records don't matter. They don't.
Then don't say it.
My biggest complaint, because really looking back on it, I enjoyed the show. I did. My biggest thing is every match that wasn't the Casino Battle Royale and the Stadium Stampede had some form of interference, distraction, outside the ring shenanigans, whatever. And like, you look at the main event, and with what Callis did, setting up, getting Kenny the win, it made perfect sense. But I literally just watched it 7 different times in every match leading up to it. It means less and less every single time. If everybody bleeds, then it's not special when the guy in the main event gets color. So the moment of Callis creating the diversion and whatever with the titles and all of this, it means so much less because it happened in Page versus Cage. It happened in the Young Bucks. It happened in the Cody Rhodes match with, even just as simple with the Arn Anderson and QT Marshall stuff. Like, you just stop overdoing it. The one
of those 3 that I would save is the Young Bucks, because that's still Don Callis. That's still that group. So if you're gonna do the extra schmaz finish, that's the one.
Yeah, I'm not saying it can't happen in other matches, because
but every other one, and I'll give you that, every other one, Jake came out, Rebel interfered every single match.
Yeah, especially in a post Attitude Era world where the lid, not only has the toothpaste come out of the tube, it's been like kicked and blown out of the tube. So like, I'm not saying it can't happen in every, save this for one match and one match only. It's not that. It's when it happens in every single match. And it's one of my gripes with Dynamite is every episode of Dynamite ends with chaos, pure chaos. Every time there's a every title match that Darby Allin defended the TNT title, he didn't even get up and start to celebrate before there were 6 guys attacking him. Every single time, it's just it's too much. It's repetitive, and and WWE is guilty of repetition. And I mean, obviously, we've seen the same match on Raw since last year's SummerSlam. So it's not just an AEW problem.
That ends in DQ.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
I didn't really notice it until you pointed it out. So I wouldn't say it bothered me as much as it bothers you, but I do appreciate that, like, to do it every single match is certainly overkill. Like when it happened in the first 2 matches, and you tweeted something about it, I was like, all right, Jim, it's AEW, I get it.
Yeah,
but then when it like
you gotta take something with a grain of salt when I'm manning the Twitter,
When it kept happening, then I was like, okay, he has a point. This is a little much.
Right. And because this was the, and I also like this show because it was the first one that Ryan and I have watched together, and my wife, thankful for this, that we can watch pay-per-views together again. Thank you, vaccines. Thank you, science. Because my wife doesn't have to watch almost full pay-per-views anymore. But like, I'm
just shocked you haven't booked her as a guest on this show. She is that WWE slanted too.
Because I wasn't kidding when Dynamite came on a couple weeks ago, and she goes, "Oh, this is the bad one, right?" I mean, I've taught her well. I really have. I've put in a lot of work over the last 11 years.
You specifically called her back to the television to show her how tiny Marco Stunt was, so she would make, "Oh, that's a real wrestler? That's not a boy?" Just to pick on Marco Stunt.
Jim really does lead the witness with these. It feels like
real bad.
Unapologetically.
This is the one I'm not supposed to like, right? Yes.
And the Stadium Stampede, like I just thought some of the segments, individual match segments, some of them went long, way long. But I mean,
there were some fun spots in that. The Urban Meyer thing was cool.
Oh, absolutely loved it. You know, for somebody that is a sports fan, a college football fan, that was really cool. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun match, and
I feel like there was a lot of Sean Spears and Sammy Hagar spots that probably could have found that the 4 minutes could have gotten cut out of.
Who? Sammy who?
Sammy Hagar.
You're mixing two people from the same stable.
That was David Lee Roth.
I have no idea who that is.
But yeah, it was, and
Jake Jericho and Chris Hagar.
Sammy and Spears were the two that finished the match. So in hindsight, I guess you can see why they were some of the most featured players in the presentation. But I saw 12 minutes at least more of Sean Spears than I need to.
I feel like that finish was a little underwhelming too. Crazy. Oh, in the ring, that's just odd.
The story they told, though, makes perfect sense. Sammy was the reason they lost Blood and Guts.
Correct.
So he is the reason why the Inner Circle stays together at Stadium Stampede. Now, whatever the blow-off's going to be, whether it's a
singles match,
kill the stack, like you have to murder somebody.
Fighter Fest is just going to be singles matches between each member.
It's going to be Mortal Kombat.
I'm okay with that.
They're just going to...
They're working in reverse.
Blood sport.
Like, I get, how are your first two matches Stadium Stampede and Blood and Guts? It still blows me away.
I did see you arguing, Jim, on Twitter with the fan who said that Judas is the most over theme. But I think to an extent they have a point. Like, have we seen a crowd be that hot for a theme in a while? It's probably not ever, but I mean, I think again, recency bias for that.
Right, because I think I would definitely agree. It's one of the most over in recent memory.
It's fan participation. It's the same thing as like the Yes Chance. It's fun. You see it on TV, and you can't wait to do it live in person.
Right, but it's also like actually learning lyrics as opposed to just chanting yes and putting your fingers in the air.
This is the most over theme in wrestling history.
That's horseshit.
The most over theme.
Horseshit.
Who's better? Who?
You can say it as many times as you want.
Name two others.
Over because they sing it?
The song is over. The theme is over. People weren't popping for Hulk Hogan because of Real American. They were popping because it was Hogan. Same thing with Steve Austin. They weren't popping because I love his fucking theme. No,
will never be hotter.
We sat at a show in Hershey, Pennsylvania, when Curtis Axel was coming out to Real American, and you heard Real American, and the place went crazy.
Yeah,
I mean that was also Hershey, Pennsylvania.
You popped for it because you weren't expecting to hear it, and you heard it.
Judas and it went to a great song. I own the Fozzy. I'll not deny that it's a great song.
It is the most over theme in wrestling history.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard you say.
I mean,
ever.
If you're looking at my actual phrase, it's not that ludicrous.
It is.
Then name another theme that is more over.
You said the two already.
But those weren't... People aren't looking forward to the song. People, those two songs...
So you're saying Chris Jericho is grossly overrated because of the song he comes out to?
I'm saying that Jericho,
the actual performance is a disappointment once you're done singing Fozzy.
I'm saying that the song is over. People look forward to Jericho coming out so they can sing Judas. They're not looking forward to the song to see Jericho. Just like
Fandango's theme.
Fandango's theme was super over. And it wasn't because of Fandango. It was the effing theme.
Argue Fandango's theme over Judas.
No way!
At the same time, like,
people have been singing Judas for multiple years. Fandango doesn't even have the same fucking theme anymore.
And again, that's learning the lyrics for the song as opposed to just putting your fingers in
We also
the
sang the Badas.
Yeah, people sang that. I had the shirt that
Glorious was incredibly over.
It was,
what about,
but again,
it was like
My Baby Tonight.
Jesus.
The theme closest to being over is Shinsuke Nakamura's theme. But even then, I think that people were excited to hear the theme because it was Shinsuke, and Shinsuke performed into his theme, so it became that kind of crowd reaction. I'm saying Judas by itself.
It's the most sing-alongable theme song.
Most over theme.
That.
Yes.
The most sing-alongable theme.
Over.
Okay. All right. I think we'll agree. I think we can agree.
No, don't fucking just say that to pacify him, Jim, because you don't agree.
No, I as a theme itself,
as the way Tim's wording it, it makes sense more.
The way he's wording it, I think it does make sense.
It is
like,
the theme, not the person, anything else.
I think that
So the most over sound effect was the glass breaking?
I would say I think the glass breaking is more over than
if you
Judas.
were to ever like register the fucking sound of those pops, it blows Judas every day. It blows Judas out of the water every day.
But it's what they're popping for. The glass breaking means that the biggest star in the history of wrestling is coming out.
Chris Jericho's gonna waddle his ass out and wrestle.
Judas means that we get to sing the effing chorus at the top of our lungs.
To a Fozzy concert then.
They do every Wednesday or Friday or Saturday at Daly's place.
At Sturgis.
Christ.
They're there.
But I think that's the point, Ryan. I think like people are they're not getting over because they get to see Jericho kind of
right. You just made that point
Thank
for
you.
us. Like Jericho's waddling his ass out to a ring.
Yes,
they're not excited about him.
Excited. No,
they're excited about Judas.
So you think the Yes movement? You guys are unreal. Get the fucking music off of here, Jim.
I mean, it's not a bad call by Mark. That's up there.
That's actually. If you've ever sat at Jimmy's Famous Seafood and heard the late great Nikolai Volkov almost sing that song,
oh my,
you get it. You get it.
That was some good stuff.
But I think you're right, and I think my tweet may have been a bit misled and wrong.
Who is you? You
What's
said
that?
I think you are right.
Tim.
Thank you. Okay.
Sorry, Tim. I did point at you, but I realize I'm pointing at a screen. So yes. Let's go around. Grade for AEW Double or Nothing. I left my score sheet upstairs, but I think
did anything get a flat 0?
Nothing got a flat 0 actually, so it did better than
no zombies. Got it.
WrestleMania Backlash. No zombies. I think when I mathed everything out, I think it was a B-. I think it was a B- for me, which I agree with. It was not a bad show. It was awesome seeing it in front of a crowd again. Matt,
I had it as a straight B.
Very good. Tim,
it was an A- because of the crowd.
Okay.
Because the fans were so into it.
Mark, how about you?
I thought it was a great show. I give it a B+, and part of that is, like Tim said, from the crowd. Having that live crowd back was a big deal.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm very much looking forward to July the 16th when we see the WWE back on the road. Ryan.
I gave it a solid B, but because I got to see the fans sing Fozzy, that really upgraded the whole fucking thing to an A+. So probably the the greatest pay-per-view I've ever seen.
Perfect.
Seeing a Jericho rappel down with Fozzy playing, oh my God, it moved my heart, it moved my dick.
I thought they were all going to die jumping off that thing. I didn't know they were tethered. I'm like, they're just going to jump off?
Yeah, I was like, what? They're up there. Okay, they're going to,
camera
good.
cut, they're on the ground.
Or I thought that was going to be something too. But apparently that was shot over like 4 days from what Jericho said, the Stadium Stampede. Not them rappelling.
Yeah.
The match itself. Devin said he gave it a C. And that is double or nothing. But we have our
there's
normal.
There's a reason Devin listens to this WWE podcast every fucking week.